Welcome to today's episode of my vlog. Today I have a very special guest with me, Nate Waters. Why don't you introduce or tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, great to be here. Well, I am the product marketing manager for Azure Hybrid, and that is the role that Dave had right before me. And so Dave and I actually interviewed together, which was pretty fun. So I've been in this role for about 10 months.
What would you say is like something that fascinates you about hybrid, like that makes you passionate about it?
I think the thing that I really find interesting is all of the different ways that companies are using the hybrid cloud. And I think there's so much focus on cloud innovation and everything that you can do. And so many people don't recognize that they're actually in a hybrid environment while doing that. And so some of the things like all of the edge and IoT scenarios that banks or retailers or hospitals can do are so interesting to me, and learning more about how these types of companies will bring in edge and IoT and things like Azure Cognitive Services into their business is really exciting for me to learn about.
That's awesome. Now, I'm really excited because you agreed to this new experimental format I'm doing here with interviews, where I'm using a card deck. It's funny, that I found online. It was a Christmas present that has questions to ask in a podcast or in a video vlog, and it has a wide variety of questions. Okay. And you have agreed on that I can just pull you and ask you cold out. I find it quite funny. There's different topics. There's cards that have questions around would you rather, A or B, what the heck, or just more traditional interview questions, if you will. And so first question I draw for you was, if you had to decide, would you rather have unlimited sushi or unlimited tacos for life?
Oh, for me, that's a no-brainer, and it's tacos. I probably just offended a lot of fish lovers, but I grew up in California, and when I went to college, I went to college in the Chicago area, and there's not a ton of great Mexican food there, I guess, or I miss the Mexican food in California, and so unlimited tacos for me. And you can always have, fish tacos, so you get a little bit of like sushi in there, I guess.
I'm on the same side with you, full tacos. Maybe that's why we both like hybrid.
Yeah.
Now, what's a thing that actually makes you feel old?
A thing that makes me feel old. Wow. Okay. I think I know my answer. It's seeing professional athletes that are far younger than me. And so I think you always almost associate pro athletes being older than you, but then you'll watch, European soccer and you'll see someone on Barcelona or Manchester United or something, and they'll be like, oh yeah, he's 18. And that is pretty surprising. And so that's something that makes me feel old a lot.
Okay. So athletes, okay, I see that. What is something that I would never guess about you?
Oh, let's see. Dave, you know me, I would say pretty well at this point. Something that you would never guess about me. Okay, maybe this is it. I don't think we talk a lot about like movies and music and stuff like that, but some of my favorite movies, as is my wife's favorite movies, so I'm sure that's how we can draw the delineation here, but are, the romantic comedies types of movies. I would say anything from like the 90s to the mid 2000s. If it's, my wife and I are going to sit down and watch a movie, we're going to watch a romantic comedy from that generation. So I think I've seen the complete works of like Hugh Grant, Tom Hanks, and Matthew McConaughey, as they did a lot of those movies.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm not sure if I would have guessed that.
Yeah.
Now, if you had to choose between go 30 days without your phone or your entire life without dessert, what would it be?
Oh, I would easily go 30 days without my phone for a lifelong of dessert. So if I chose my phone, I could not have dessert.
Yeah, if you can either decide you're going to give up dessert and for the rest of your life and keep your phone, yeah, or you would have to give me your phone for 30 days, but then you can never have dessert again.
Oh, I can't go without dessert. And so I need dessert. I could live without my phone. Then I, wouldn't be wasting all my time on like Twitter and Instagram and, work emails late at night, I guess.
Which is funny. In theory, I would say the same with you. But then when I really think about 30 days without a phone, I don't know if I can be that long disconnected. It would be a hard decision for me.
That would be, you'd have to get a lot more comfortable being bored or just like sitting there.
Exactly. And I have a hard time with being 10 minutes bored.
Yeah.
So 30 days sounds like a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
So let's see. Another good question. In the meantime, while I pick here a question for you, you're also a very passionate water skier, right? Because you were the person that made it possible for me last summer to achieve my 3 goals of the summer in 2019, thanks to the fact that you took me out of the boat. So that meant a lot to me. That was really fun because I gave up. I'm like, okay, I made 2 out of 3 goals, and then you texted me, and then I was like, look at that. Thanks to Nate, I achieve them all. That's awesome.
Yes, very passionate water skier. Started when I was like 5 years old or so. I grew up going to a summer camp in Maine that's on a lake, and every summer you get to go water skiing, and so that's where I grew a love for it. And then in Washington, there's no better place for lakes and water skiing, so gotta keep doing it here.
That's awesome. So I have one last question from this deck, and then we're gonna change very quickly the topic to Microsoft. If there were a sandwich that would be named after you, what would be on that sandwich? On the Nate sandwich?
Ooh, okay. This is a great question. My favorite sandwich is just the ultra messy, like pastrami sandwich, with, melted cheese and onions on it and things like that. And there are a few restaurants in Seattle, particularly one called Tats in Pioneer Square, that does a really good job of that. I think if I could add to it, I would probably try to put, because they keep it pretty plain there and it's perfect. You don't need to change much, but I would maybe add I think they do coleslaw on the side, but I've had sandwiches where they put coleslaw in the sandwich, and that I think would be pretty good. But it's a mess. Like once you pick it up, it just like drips all over the place and you can't really put it down. So it's not very easy to eat, or especially because I used to work in the Pioneer Square area of Seattle, like trying to eat it on your lunch break for work and not staining your shirt is a challenge.
You shouldn't eat it on your boat then. But I would definitely give it a try. So if you ever try it at home, let me know. I passed by. I'm going to give it a try.
Yeah.
Now to bring it just quick to Microsoft, because in the series is about introducing some of the awesome people I get to work with. What would you say is, like, we talked before a little bit, you're passionate about hybrid, but I think for all of us working at Microsoft, the passion working in technology in Microsoft is even bigger than a particular area or topic of that technology. What makes you excited of being, or why did you choose to work at Microsoft?
Yeah. Well, when I first moved to the Seattle area about 4 years ago, I had dreams of working for Microsoft. And so the fact that I got to actually, be here and now be one of the employees at the company is really a huge just like goal of mine that I feel very lucky to be a part of. I think one of the things that I really love about Microsoft is the really simple dedication to the company's values. And I think a lot of people probably say that about the big tech companies that they work for. But I feel like there truly is, from our leadership all the way down, so much commitment to the company's values of, empowering people to have technology. And you see that all the way through from our kind of thought leadership and a lot of accessibility and inclusivity with tech to, being a brand that people can trust. I think that I feel like Microsoft truly is one of the good guys, and we do things for the benefit of everyone. And whether that means it's on our technology or on someone else's, I think that's something that really resonates with me. And I just think it's really cool to work for a company that is really transparent and honest and is really trying to do a lot of good for the world through our technology rather than, technology for just like profit's sake.
Now, if somebody would ask you for one tip for like, I want to work for Microsoft, what is the one tip you would give me I should watch for, or that could help me land a job at Microsoft?
Yeah, well, this is really, I would say, my personal experience of there are a lot of different routes to get into Microsoft. And so if it's truly, you're watching this video and it's your goal to get employed at Microsoft, don't just think your only route is to look on the career board and apply, because I think we all know that that's really challenging to do in some sense. That's not how I got the job. A really viable option is starting off as a contractor or a vendor, or working for an agency that works for Microsoft, because the more that you know the company and how the company operates, you can actually find yourself in a role that you really want to be in. Before I even applied, I really knew that I wanted to be in the Azure product marketing team. And when the time came where I heard that there was an opening and I was able to speak to a recruiter, I went through the interview process and it was all able to work out. But I was a contractor and working for Microsoft almost indirectly through the consulting agency I was working for beforehand for 2 years. And so it might not be a super simple process of apply online, a recruiter reaches out and you get hired a month later after going through the interviews. That certainly can happen. I think that's happened to a lot of people. But know that there are a lot of different ways to get into Microsoft, and whichever way you get in, will be the right way for you and can work out.
Thanks for the tip. Now, before I close out, any final thoughts you would like to share with the audience?
Let's see, final thoughts. Well, I'll say that when I was applying to Microsoft, I'm pretty sure I caught wind of Dave's YouTube channel, especially after I interviewed him and I, started looking him up on LinkedIn and things like that. But I think the final thoughts I say are, I think, very grateful to work for Microsoft. I think there's so many different things that people work here like latch on to is one of the reasons why they love it, whether or not it's the super high level company mission, the really kind of like groundbreaking work that you get to do here. I think the type of marketing that we get to do at Microsoft is very different than maybe the marketing that you would do at a startup or a smaller company or something like that. It's really unique, or it's the team you work on. And I think when you can check off almost all three of those things on your list, you found a pretty awesome place to work. And also a plug for Azure Hybrid. I love the hybrid space, and I think it's really fun to find all the ways that our technology is going about serving customers. And it's a really competitive space, but I think that Microsoft should be the leader in that. Biased opinion, but
biased too, but I think actually we're right. Just saying. So thank you very much, Nate, for taking the time to talking to us. And if you found this helpful watching this episode, please let us know in the comments, notes, whatever. Feel free to reach out to Nate on LinkedIn. Also, if you want to work, it never hurts if you're going to get a recommendation. So feel free to reach out to Nate or myself. And with that, we wish you a great rest of the day wherever you are, and enjoy.
Be sure to like and subscribe.
Thanks, Nate.